All right, guys, what's up? What's up? I can clear this off. So it turns out a pipe did not burst. A pipe did not burst, but something went on with our dishwasher. We had flooding in the kitchen and flooding all throughout the ceiling, dripping through every single little light and fixture and stuff like that. So we had to move a bunch of stuff to my office, but hey, we'll get to that later. Pretty much, they came over, turned some water off, fixed one little thing, and that was actually a couple days ago. So we were just seeing if it was going to settle in. So they wanted to come take another look. So we are good to go for the day, hitting up to the top side daily expected move. Daily time frame still crossed up into positive territory. Nice little gap up to start the day. Let's get these up over here. Sorry about the kind of wonky stream. It's kind of all of a sudden, guys. There we go. All right, so what's going on out there? Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I'll still be, I was trying to give them some time to take a look at things, right? Take a look at things, make sure everything's good, but they pretty much were like, yeah, it should finish drying up soon, and it should be all good to go, and then they're going to come back in and make sure there's no mold and things like that. So, yeah. Unfortunate times. All right, looks like dollar going up. PCC at 0.8. This is kind of weird to jump back into real quick, but it looks like the 10-year yield still coming down. Weird to see the reaction from the dollar. Oh, great. Now we're not going to load, huh? Let's just do that real quick and get one up. That way it's not loading a bunch. I don't want any little mishaps here. All right, so it still looks good. Now, what did we want to happen with this overall? Well, we want us to violate some divergence points here. I was paying attention to that in the futures market and things like that, but for the most part, this looks good. I mean, everything looks fine. We always have a risk that we could end up seeing some kind of drop. Remember, most likely to be some kind of pullback if that drop even comes to fruition. Oh yeah, we were checking on that reaction from the dollar. Apple, ooh, see, like Apple's the unfortunate one. Apple is the unfortunate one for sure, because that one is the risky one, right? Apple was the risky one. It was like, hey, you haven't completed the 2-hour divergence yet. You drop down to lower levels. It's not looking very pretty for Apple as it stands right now. Where's my other thing here? What the heck is going on? What? Okay, there we go. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Just some funky stuff. My computer wasn't set up correctly today. But Apple heading down already below a weekly expected move. So very interesting. You'd really want to see if that thing can buy back up. This is why I wasn't taking overall bigger position. I'm looking at what I could actually sell for. But that's where I'm thankful that I take out. That's where I'm thankful that I take out of date, right? Some longer expirations, because weirdly enough, this could be like horrible for the Apple chart, right? I could just lose $250 almost immediately with this drop. But instead, it ends up being like as of right now, about a 60%. So as I get out of that position, see if that thing can whip back up. Hey, that's what I'll be paying attention to. But most likely, this will be needing some time to base out for Apple. Looks like Tesla as well, proving that these 30-minute divergences are there for it, which means I might have to be paying attention to Amazon and thinking about, hey, is this thing going to pull back in some way? So this might convince me a little bit to take some profit. And hey, if I end up being wrong and this thing squeezes higher, that's perfectly fine with me. I still like to make money, as I just lost a little bit over on Apple. I want to make sure to be taking some profit with maybe Amazon, as that is still a very good play. So for the most part, though, we see the divergence is still holding for the indices here. We're running into the daily expected move, and now we got to see what happens. Weirdly enough, now you would actually have that slight divergence on the RSI. Of course, the MACD is not wanting to load up here. Let me see if it'll load on the other chart real quick. And technically still holding the divergence point for the MACD as well. It just would be some sort of rejection in this area. Let me see what you guys are chatting about. Like, weird to jump into the flow of things right here. Thanks to my SPY calls. Feels good to be in the green for a change. Hey, that's nice, Willow. Isn't that nice? Congratulations. Yeah, we can look at some stocks and stuff like that. Apple calls free falling. Yeah, so this is why the first position is smaller for this. Why is everything so slow? Is this the water too? Like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, for Apple, you just got to be aware, like, if you were taking this, you're taking an hourly, maybe a 30-minute signal here. The main one is the 2-hour. You have to be seeing this 2-hour curl up. This is why the position sizing I was taking in these, actually I took it in these areas here, and technically was going to sell if we break this low. Couldn't do that with the gap, right? See, it happens to everyone. It's not, you know, I'm not special by any reasons. If I take a play because it pops up and I see an opportunity and I go, that might be an opportunity. I'm waiting for the 2-hour to cross to put big money behind. That's why I just manage the position size here. And now, I mean, I sell that position, a little bit of a loss there, but thankfully Amazon's really kind of covering that at this point because that was already good. So I can sell Amazon if I want to and get out of that. But yeah, Apple falling off a cliff. Look at this thing. This is why we discussed this over the weekend. I said Apple is going to be the risky play. Oh God, I don't know what is going on here. And now, right when everyone gives up on it, it's probably rechasing into a good volume profile, honestly. It's outside of a weekly expected move on the first day of the week so far. God, I can't even click around. This sucks. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I know it's called crypto charts, but we don't do crypto charts. Kind of flaggy for the dollar. I want to pull up the SPY here on a 30-minute, and we'll just keep that over here on a tab. That way we can maybe click around over here and go back to it. But yeah, the SPY for now, you're just looking at, hey, we're hitting a daily expected move. It's nothing crazy. Restart PC maybe, yeah, then I have to shut down the stream and bring it back up. So we'll see. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, daily expected move above us. We're going in the upward direction. I'll go look on my other charts, add some stuff. I wanted to look at volatility. Volatility is still holding some divergence points on the 30-minute. No 2-hour cross up yet. Or actually, 2-hour did cross up. My apologies. 2-hour did cross up. We could see that touch of about 1504. I want to see if this basing out from volatility leads to that pullback we were talking about, right? We could reconnect with the 5, but if we just keep holding up well, we're going to have to see what happens. Tomorrow, just so you are aware, tomorrow we will get the MEA 30-year mortgage rate. Okay, we will get the mortgage rate, which I think is interesting. And then the day after that, we'll actually get our initial jobless claims. It's a little piece of data, but I think more and more people are going to read into the, I think more and more people are going to read into these little bits of job data. So we'll see if there's a reaction because of that. Trading view running slow. Hey, thank you for welcoming me back, YS. Sorry about that, guys. It was just unfortunate there, and really, like, half of our stuff is like wet, and pretty much there's like pools of stuff in all of our containers. So I had to get my gaming headset was the reason that I actually caught the issue. Isn't that crazy? My buddy called me up. He's like, hey, do you want to play a little game or something? I was like, I need a headset. I don't want to bug anyone. I went down to look through my storage to see about my headset and noticed there was water everywhere, and I was like, oh crap. that's never fun. Let's do this real quick. Let me click over to this one. I mean, first of all, if you're asking about Coinbase, just look at what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin's starting to fall off a little bit here. No confirmation from the 2-hour for the move higher. As of right now, I believe you are in some sort of 4-hour pullback at this moment. Little rejection diverges at the high, so that could cause some selling to come in. Want to see if the 4-hour can confirm back up. That would be great. Now, the reason we're paying attention to Bitcoin is because if you're watching Bitcoin, it probably follows coin. So as of right now, you're seeing a drop down, which is exactly what Bitcoin did, right? Bitcoin had that little 4-hour drop down. Where are you overall? Well, we have a high, we have a low, right? Technically, you have a high, a low, you have a new established high here. So if you can make a higher low, that would be a pretty good thing. Now, we'll look at that from probably a 30-minute perspective right now. Not the best reversal signals, but look, you're still in a positive trend. You're retesting the 5. You're retesting around that 279 area. It's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. It's just dramatic at this point. So that there's no reason for a bullish trade, you know, while things are dramatic. I want to see if that can whip back up and then see if that can take this out and make a new high, right? If we can establish some kind of a higher low here, that would be a good thing, right? A low, pretty much from this low, you've made very weak little higher lows. I'm talking about an actual like 2-hour trend higher low. That would be what you really want to see in this area, I think. But really, you're just building up to this point. Some consolidation from here. You've run for a while. Some kind of pullback, some kind of consolidation would have been nice. This just makes you a little bit scared because it's pretty strong right now, the selling. What does that tell me? Well, am I going to be taking a bullish trade if this kind of selling is happening right now? No, I'm going to wait and see if there is some kind of turnaround at some point. And I'd probably be paying attention to Bitcoin today and making sure, hey, can that thing curl back up? Because if that thing curls back up, things look all right. Amazon's still running strong here. God, I'm really just debating if I should just take profit to minimize the or actually pretty much make all the money back from the Apple play. That would easily do that. Maybe I'll wait a little bit. Let me look at a weekly expected move here. Where's the weekly for Amazon this week? My brain is just everywhere. Kind of messed my day up. Oh, we got there. We kind of got there. We almost got there for a second here. Retest the breakout. I guess this bad boy isn't turned down, and we don't really have divergence. It is just getting a little bit frothy. I mean, we're starting to get a little bit overbought. You notice the overbought times have led to some drops the past like 3 times we were in this area. So we could be looking at something like this. That would be nice. Even something like this, that still would be nice. It's just this. Take that out, not good. So you're really looking at your 216 to, I would say 215. Yeah, 216 level. You start to take out like 216.50. You start to break those lows. That's when you really get worried. That's the crazy part about this move so far. Because of the breakout, you'd have to lose a lot to really be convinced that this is overall bearish for Amazon. Nvidia and things like that a lot different, right? They are showing blatant reversal signals. Okay, they are showing blatant reversal signals. And you do have Apple giving a warning here, right? Apple is giving a warning here. And Apple does this actually some of the time, right? Apple actually did this, I believe, before the bear market started. It actually just kept going down while other stocks started to catch that bounce and stuff. So we will be paying attention to this, but if volatility increases, we're happy. Like, I'm happy if volatility increases. So Tesla, as of right now, hey, Tesla was one of the ones that just had flat divergence, if not even there. Yeah, flat divergence on the MACD. Proven to be, hey, a 2-hour pullback seems to be what is going to go on here. Now, we just want to see if that is going to be taking us through these lows. Actually, even this low, right? You've really established like a low, maybe a high, then a higher low. Then you have all these series of little higher highs, higher lows. You're starting to take that out. So really from this push, we want to establish like, yes, this will be a higher low and we will head in the upward direction, which means this might have to curl over and we might have to go fill this gap. So that's what this looks like it's pointing towards, and this is where I'd look for support. If that doesn't come in, I don't see that 2-hour be able to cross back up. This can start to take out these lows, and you might end up seeing some interesting stuff from Tesla. Being that this might all just be some kind of consolidation in some way to actually head lower. And remember, we were always talking about the 357.78 level. So we are paying attention. Signals can fail. This is why we put out the videos over the weekend. Hopefully you were able to watch those, because if you think this is the market crashing right now, why is the market crashing is probably something that was typed in the chat while I was gone, because you're seeing some red in some areas. The market's not crashing right now. You can easily see that. There's no crash happening right now. Trust me, you would be shitting your pants way harder if it was crashing right now. But you have confirmed divergence, so you have to weigh the risk and reward at this exact moment, right? Not be hoping that this turns back up. No, this is a confirmation of divergence. You have the divergence for the Qs on the MACD and RSI at the same time. That means we can see a 2-hour pullback. That 2-hour is more likely to be a pullback as you are at higher levels on the MACD. So I'd be paying attention to the gaps or my daily expected moves. That's all I'd be doing, really. Like looking at the retest area here and then looking if we want to reach down and fill that gap. Because that's what the signal's telling you at this moment. Cool. All right, Amazon, we might be out of you. I'm going to take mine. That Q's divergence looking pretty good. Tesla seeing some selling. We can get out and get back in if we have to. I think it's just a time where I'm going to manage risk at this point. So it's pretty much like a wipe everything and start over. You made money last week, made a little bit this week on Amazon, lost a little bit with Apple. Hey, good thing that was a smaller position, right? Always paying attention to the risk and the reward. Very, very nice. Now I can say this looks risky because we didn't, remember what I said, if this is going to be some kind of squeeze, I want to see a big gap up and just go to that top side move, right? We did gap up technically, but we're still within the daily, which holds as resistance, and now you're confirming even more so that divergence with some steep red bars. So that tells us for the time being, unless that changes, we would say that the direction is overall down. Where would that head to? Well, look where your weekly expected move is. It could head here, it could stop here, it could stop right here, right? We're just paying attention to signals. It could go fill this gap. We could shoot down like that and fill that gap, and guess what? That would still potentially be a head and shoulders. It's crazy, but this is what you gotta be looking at. You're in kind of a crazy time. We've been in a crazy time for, what, over a month now, maybe? A month? So we're chilling. Looks good. We'll see if Apple can fight its way back. I'll keep it up on my other screen to let you know. AMC looks like coming in at 0 right now. GME, this is what I was talking about with GME. Let's go pop over to that real quick. Anyone who is telling you that this and this is just a great base and you're going to see something crazy, I highly suggest they actually learn technical analysis, because there's nothing here. This says a 2-hour bounce can come. You don't get confirmation of the 2-hour bounce, and the 30-minute just rolls back over right here, and you're heading back to the downside. Now you are holding that point of divergence again. Notice you're holding every point of divergence on the RSI, right? As of right now, you're holding those points of divergence on the MACD as of right now. So this means this could still see that 2-hour pop soon, but that's really all this is telling you is, hey, I could get some kind of 2-hour pop. That could just move sideways on the 2-hour and then drop again. Right, this is a very negative trend as of right now for the 2-hour, so it's going to take a lot of work for this to get back into the bullish side of things, in my opinion. I'm not ever going to say it's impossible. I'm just like, usually you see better signals than this before you actually see the 2-hour climb that far, that deep into negative territory, all the way back up. This is why, you know, paying attention to the 5 can even help you. Look at the rejection up here. So, not the best look. Looks like DJT suffering. So the 30-minute divergence actually kind of helping us out here, right? We were pointing this out. Could be some form of double top, could be some kind of consolidation to go higher. You don't get the confirmation of the 30-minute to go higher. You just say, hey, we're still heading down. Did that divergence cross over the 2-hour? Well, it actually crossed over the 2-hour on Friday. On Friday, that crossed down. So you do have signals that are pointing it down in this direction. Did I short this by any means? No. Did not short it by any means. Nope, I'm not taking really any shorts until I see crash signals at this point, or volatility increases, right? There will be bounces, there will be dead cat bounces, there will be setups. Do want to check over on the dollar for a moment here. Looking at the daily chart, hey, it's starting to wick back down, so not able to hold as of right now. We'll see what happens with this. But overall, dollar dropping down to lower levels. I know it says it's positive, but that's just because the previous bar is actually not here. So it says it's positive, and it's actually not positive from the previous bar. If you really look at this, guys, don't let your trading view trick you. As of now, you had an off day yesterday, and you are down 1%. You are making a new low. And intraday, you might be making a lower high, right? Now you are making forms that could turn up the dollar here, sorry, 2-hour. You are making some things that could turn up the dollar here. Look at the divergence at the low, right? Look at the 2-hour divergence at the low. If that starts to curl up, bad things. Look at the 4-hour here, no divergence there. So do we need to be really, really worried about this? Or could this potentially be just some kind of head and shoulders maybe going to form? And we're going to see a pullback in the market. A pullback seems like a very likely thing to happen. IWM, we don't have the correct levels, but once again, divergence holding a little bit there, heading up above the top. Wouldn't this be nice? Like, I just don't see how this wouldn't be a good thing to do this, dip back into the liquidity zone here, and then see that curl back up into positive territory. I don't see how this is overall something to be really worried about. If anything, buyers are likely to step in. Buyers are still mostly in control. They're a little not in control when it comes to Apple. They're slightly getting out of control when it comes to Tesla. They can do it in those individual names. Let's look at Microsoft real quick. Microsoft's another one that showed 30-minute divergence. The 2-hour here, if that would cross down, remember Microsoft. We were talking about this one. Hey, if that could cross down in some way, even on the 2-hour, we could end up going all the way down to like 415, 416, and then turn back up. And what would you have? You just have a massive head and shoulders. So I'm not too worried about this at this moment. I will tell you something that would worry me more would be if volatility starts to scale up to the point where the daily crosses back up as that is in positive territory. That is when I would not necessarily be looking for calls. I might be looking for structure and things like that to look for a short position at that point. So really, if we keep a calm head about it, we're just at a topside daily expected move. We do see the dollar says it's increasing, but we know it actually decreased. So we're just watching this thing. We're just watching this. And I think we'll find out eventually. Check on my Amazon play. Amazon, you might have to be fully gotten rid of now. Let's do that. Alrighty. So now Amazon, I'm just gonna wait and see if you get a little pullback here. Because it seems things are, it seems like the failure from Amazon, it really looks like, hey, we might need to gun up and pull back, maybe even pretty aggressively for Amazon. Amazon, for example, Amazon could pull all the way down to like 219, 218, probably 219. All right, we look at Amazon on a 2-hour, we're looking at this and we're going, how would the structure really want to build here? Well, we see a very obvious level here. So very, very obvious. We're having trouble above that level. So if we need to gear up and then turn back up into positive territory, that can be a great thing. If you need to go all the way down to fill this gap, right, 217.57, you can do that. I just don't want you to lose this low, right? I'm like, I don't want Amazon to lose that low, but there might be a different opportunity setting up here. It'd just be weird when you don't have a ton of data. I mean, I guess these are all going to be reactions to the inauguration, if you will. But we'll find out. We got to be quick with this market, right? Got to be quick with it. Is there any way to short these meme coins? Not that I really know of. What do you think of the Trump coin? Trump coin for the most part. I'll go look at it on my other screen. Actually, we can look at it here for a second. Trump coin for the most part. I never know which one I actually use here. Hold on. USD Tether. So Trump for the most part, this coin, you don't have a lot of data to go off of, and that's first. So what you want to see here is just like, I want to look at 30-minute charts if I catch a. But what you're noticing is that 30-minute doesn't have a strong base at all as of this moment. You've tried to carve out these little higher lows on smaller time frames. You've reacted to a good level. It looks like it wants to maybe see some upside. But if this 30-minute crosses down, you're very likely to take out this low, go make a new one, right? So I'd really be looking in here, though. I mean, this is your block that really can be very good support in some way, right? That we could draw a little zone there. But if that 30-minute crosses, you just go, okay, this is going to head down. If it holds up better, okay, awesome. But you're very likely to take out this low and go make a new one. So what we want to see is that not happen. What we want to see is probably the 30-minute just reject there and turn back up. If you're in this, by the way. Looks nice. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. You're going to breakout areas too. Like you're retesting breakout. That's all you're doing here. So we'll see if that's it. Right now the retest is, hey, buyers stepped in. Can they hold the coin up higher? I guess not stock. We'll find out. I gotta move stuff. I gotta clean stuff today. Ugh, God, dude, today is just no fun. Today is not going to be a fun one, I'll tell you that. Thank goodness Abuela's coming over to help out. Apple pretty crazy to be outside of the weekly expected move this early on in the week. So for Apple, the options market is saying there's a 68% chance by the end of the week, by Friday close, that you end up above about 223, 223.30. So very interesting. I want to see if that 2-hour held for Apple in some way. Still holding the divergence point from January 13th, about a week ago. Just a rough looking signals for Apple. I don't think that thing looks easy at all anymore. What the heck is going on with this guy? Oh, what the heck is going on with this guy? All right, give me 2 seconds. Got to do something real quick. Come on. Oh my gosh, everything is so slow now. I don't know if that's like due to what happened, but I don't think anything's ever been this slow for me over here. Come on. Oh, there's AMC. Hey, AMC is actually a little pop there at the end there, so that's cool. All right, back into it. Let's see. What other little guys are moving? Looks like Wolf coming down, Mara coming down. Let's see, 30-minute here. It looks like Mara just might fill that gap. Still be paying attention. Looks like Bitcoin finding some legs. Again, trying to get some kind of bounce off of the 5-day moving average. VIX 9-day really popped though. Looks like volatility is going to be pretty high for that 9-day. But VIX itself really dropping down. Still holding the tapering at this moment. Looks like pullback may be likely. But I don't see any confirmation from volatility. Interesting. IWM violating one divergence point. Huh. Yeah, this market's going to be difficult for a second here. We need to see if it wants to pull back or wants to squeeze. That's kind of where you're at right now. ABGO violated. That's good. Wolf actually catching some legs at the 5-day moving average. Oof, Netflix. How's that oil play? Who's still got that oil play? I think you're due for a bounce from oil. Go retest like 77.39. Goodness, this is literally like, are we going to squeeze or are we going to see that bigger pullback? What's going on, guys? How high and low the SPY? How high and low the SPY today? The daily levels are up on your screen. Almost time to figure that out and play on the snow. Hey, that's awesome, Willow. Yeah, don't let my bad day ruin your guys' good days. You know what I mean? Trump coin, I think, can be fine, by the way, as long as, like, you know, whoever's holding 80% of the coins doesn't just sell all that on people, which I don't think they have. What up, Secure Opening? Sorry about this morning. Looks like Trump coin might have found its little legs in some way. Yeah. No, I don't see enough. I mean, I see that buying pressure from the bottom. I see the consolidation in this area. I don't mind it. I just don't want that 30-minute to cross. It'd just be too risky that you're going to experience another drop. As of the SPY right now, though, if these things hold up, it's crazy, crazy, crazy to see Apple down like that. Because now if the market drops, that would technically mean if Apple wants to drop with the market, Apple's going to go further than that. And that's kind of scary. You're outside of a monthly, you're outside of a weekly again. And the first day of the week, that's when we pay attention, but it's just going to be kind of scary there. VVIX. VIX starting to drop down a little bit deeper. About to violate the divergence point. This means squeeze might be on the table. Unless it's able to whip back up or get a reaction from 1504. Dollar starting to drop down aggressively here. Oof. Maybe I shouldn't have got rid of Amazon right away. Probably could have made more money there later on. It looks like a good... Oh, Google. Google with a great move out the gate. If you had Google and you had weekly expected moves, you're pretty happy with that. That's nice. We likey. Not bad. AMC just needs a 30-minute curl up to really say like, hey, I can make a positive trend here. And then, so you do have the level for AMC. Just remember that's 412. GME this week is 30.09, and you do still have 30-minute divergence there for GME. If you look at GME and you're looking at this and you're going, oh man, I need to react. Well, just pay attention as well. You're holding the divergence point. It still just means, hey, we can get a 2-hour move maybe higher. But that could stop at like 28.35. It depends on the buying pressure there. Dang, weird spot though. Where did it test? Tested the low from December 10th. So early December lows is what you're retesting right now for GME, and it's starting to see a pretty good spike up there. Pretty good. Time to crash. Time right before earnings equals no buyback period. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I know buybacks are a big deal. And what their earnings is January, what, 31st? So unless people read into that, I think it's January 31st. I'm gonna look, but yeah, I guess if people read into that, they might buy before. But yeah, January 31st is when they actually have earnings, which actually is the same. That's actually crazy. This has happened before too, especially with Apple, because I've traded Apple so much. So Thursday, January 30th, actually, sorry, Wednesday, January 29th, you'll get the Fed interest rate and the Fed press conference. On Thursday, you're going to get GDP growth rate. And then on Friday, you're going to get the PCE, personal income and personal spending. But you'll also get Apple earnings. And so it'll be really interesting to see what Apple looks like before that earnings, or before all this data and after the earnings. Because Apple's done some crazy stuff to save the market before if things look a little bit bad by that time. So we'll see what happens. VIX starting to spike down now, violating the divergence point, which most likely means squeeze looks a little bit more likely at this point. We'll see. I don't think people are shorting intraday enough to see a big upward move. Oh man, dude, just I don't feel like touching Apple before earnings. Yeah, I feel that sentiment. I'm just saying, how would people read into it? I'm more talking about like, how does it look the day before earnings is more what I'm thinking in my head. JP Morgan keeps going up. Nice, nice. Now SoFi was a great signal. Great signal down here at the lows. 2-hour blatant divergence. Daily able to curl up. Daily continues the move. Now, as you break through a key level, it is very likely to go retest up here. Very likely to retest in this little box. Okay, so if we end up going like this, and we have weekly expected moves for this, actually. Let me go look at that for a moment. See what SoFi is telling us as far as the weekly expected move. It says a little bit higher, and then we could go back to retest something like 1670, and that would make sense. If it wants to see something crazy, though, you might break to the upside. You got to break through, really important to break through and hold 1750. And look where you're at right now. You got to be holding that. You got to break through and hold that. Very good. Very nice. Very nice. Tesla, what are you doing? You're trying to wick back up. Simple retest as of right now. Divergence there, so the 2 hour saying, hey, we could head lower. But also you have the retest of the 5, which is going to look dramatic. It's weird to see certain stocks retesting their 5, and I don't think we're seeing that across the board. Like Amazon not, Nvidia not yet, maybe. AMD not yet, maybe. Meta probably going to catch up. Yeah, it's already at it. Microsoft a little bit. You almost got there. And Google, you're not there. You got a wick at the weekly expected move. Good stuff. Anybody want to come over and help me dump water and clean probably mold out or something? Anybody want to help me out? No, Bueller? Like, no, man, I got trade stocks. Damn you, sir. Let's go look at JP Morgan. A couple people mentioning that. Okay, let's not look at JP Morgan. Let me look at that on my other chart, apparently. All right, looks like I can't. Today's just a shithole of a day. Today kind of sucks. Not trading wise, just functionality wise. My whole day is thrown off. My whole morning routine is thrown off here. Stupid leak. Mold's the worst, yeah, for sure. Got a shop vac. My dad's got a big ass warehouse. He's got like 2 of those industrial size ones. So I don't think that would be necessary. It didn't get to the point where it was like flooding. It was just like, oh, if it got in a container, then it was a big problem. And we were starting to get pools in certain areas. So I'm glad I caught it. I'm really glad that we caught it because that was going to be scary. But then they just go up, they replace one thing, and they say, oh yeah, you just had a leak in the part that was like connected to our dishwasher. So really, all of this came because something with the dishwasher went wrong, and then they had to stabilize the dishwasher so it wasn't shaking, so those things wouldn't come loose. But it was just dumping water out the back, and we were wondering why the kitchen smelled funny. That's why. It's just not fun though. Like, you can imagine how I feel right now, and I'm like, I kind of just like, part of me wants to get out of all trades and just go do everything, and then come back and be like, the stock market's gonna stock market, you know. So crazy. Yeah, you're outside of the weekly. Is Tesla? Let me go look at that. I mean, Tesla on my other charts, but is Tesla touching a... No, it's not even close. It's got more room to the downside possible, but looks like just a test of the 5-day and we see what happens. VIX. Going back, VIX actually holding the divergence point now. It's kind of like flipping back and forth. Probably see that for another 30 minutes. So, if everything looks like A, it can go either way. It could pull back, it could squeeze, it could do this. I just have to know how much that I'm risking in the overall plays that I'm taking as of now, and make sure I'm comfortable with that, right? In case something bad or something really good does happen, I don't necessarily, at this point, I'm glad that I don't have massive positions. I will say that. Because now you're at it, like down here, fucking great, just great. Up here, ooh, this could squeeze, this could pull back aggressively. So you kind of have a mixture here. So what does that mean? If I have, maybe sitting on my hands is the best, and I can look for a potential setup over the next couple of days or maybe towards Friday. That's potentially what I'm looking at. Man, SoFi, great move. Gold, weirdly enough, I believe had the potential to... Well, I guess the weakening in the dollar would mean that the gold would like that. So you'd really want to see gold actually coming down, and gold actually going up to, potentially going up to a weekly expected move this week. Is that really where the monthly's at for gold? Let me double check this, guys. GLD, that is. Okay, and GLD now outside of a monthly expected move, just so you're aware. So gold moving up pretty quick here. Is it going to see something crazy? Or is it going to pull back? Well, you do have a 30-minute divergence to help you out there. So if you're looking at GLD, it can head a little bit higher. But if this 30-minute crosses, you just need to be aware of that. Looking at the state of the 2-hour, though, are you really thinking, hey, this has to be some kind of collapse? It can. But for the most part, we would just say, hey, that might pull back in some way. A pullback seems the most likely with the positioning of the MACD. I don't know why I keep clicking over to the SPY when I'm like, hey, I could just click on that. Wow, absolute collapse here from Apple. This would be very interesting. So the lowest I think you really want to go for Apple is probably 216. Yeah, probably right about 216. You start to break 216.50. I'm getting worried about Apple for sure. I mean, we were always worried about Apple. We knew that that was a risky setup. And the 2-hour never confirmed. Man. Damn, I was looking like, hey, that Apple 2-hour, you know, that Apple 2-hour little divergence there, that confirms today, that actually confirms today, adding position. Now I'm just like, ah, dang. Losing 125. But at least I was able to save half. That's what you got to be thankful for. Even a small position, treat it like a big position. Do the same thing no matter the position size. Damn, still. We're gonna need more time here. All right, let me go look at potential call put wall for the day. SPY. What are you bumping your head on a bunch? 600? You're trying to hold above 600, then you can go to 605. So you really could hold above 600 today. 605 looks likely. And then 590 is still what you're watching here. Serious put wall at 590. So if you do see this drop down, we'd be looking down towards our weekly expected move, down towards 590. And that would probably just be a 2-hour curl down, 2-hour curl back up. But as of right now, hey, we can hold above 600. Might be squeezing. VIX is not popping up. What are you guys chatting about? But I'm bullish. We didn't really talk about TLT. We're mainly just focusing on the fact that, hey, this is in a negative trend. You're probably about to see another dip down here. 2 hours showing some divergences. So you can get a reaction up for the yields, which would mean down for TLT. And you do get some mortgage rate data in the morning. So just be aware of that. This means it's trying to slow down. The momentum is slowing down. Does this mean that this is like bullish? Well, right now you're below the 5-day moving average. So you could just go get a test and then fail that again. Right now you have completed and confirmed daily divergence here. Right, we see the divergence on the MACD up here. So we're just like, okay, we knew that this dip down was coming. TLT, I can maybe look at my weekly expected moves and say, hey, where's that thing likely to stop? Well, we already talked about this, actually. If you remember us talking about this, we said, wouldn't it be great? From the lows, we were like, wouldn't it be great if all this down here was telling you, hey, you're going to head up towards this area up here? And then this area up here, wouldn't it be great if you pulled down, retested that 8708, and then turned back up? It'd be nice. What are you noticing now, though? You have some divergence there. So I want to go look at TLT on my other charts. And this is just, when I go look at my other charts, it's just to be like, hey, are we at the weekly expected move? Right now, you're not. You could react higher. We could react all the way up into these blocks up in here before you get that to pull down. So it looks good. You got to be aware of what can hurt you. That would probably be a 2-hour crossing down at this moment. And that would take a lot of time. So I'd be watching the 30-minute. I'd be watching my weekly expected moves. It's a great move so far. You had to, the thing is, you had divergence here. You have gotten rid of those completely. So now this is just a positive move, right? This is just a positive move. If it would fail and hold the divergence in some way, you would be paying attention to it, right? But the 2 hours is just going to go higher and higher, then that's more likely to be pullbacks. Doesn't mean the thing can't happen. Doesn't mean bad things can't happen. Just means we got to be paying attention to risk, right? If you're doing options, you always got to be paying attention to the risk. All right, so let's go back over to here. Check out this for a sec. See if we got anything going on here. I'm going to really analyze Apple to see if there's any play there today. I just highly doubt there is. You might need a few more days. If anything, Tesla, getting some good buying pressure actually from the 5-day, taking it back. What are we chatting about? Oh, Apple's been flushing, yeah. What kind of news data do we have this week? Tomorrow you'll get some mortgage rate data. The next day after that, on Thursday, you will be getting initial jobless claims. I think people would pay more attention to that. And then on Friday is the day you actually get some data that people will actually be paying probably closer attention to. You get the composite PMI, flash PMI, manufacturing PMI, global services PMI right after the open. And then a little bit after that, you'll get existing home sales, and people might read into that. So more just going to pay attention to the reaction. Do people buy because of that? Do people sell because of that? Does it hold? Do we need to manage risk? Those are what we're going to be paying attention to there. Just, hey, what's the actual reaction to data? Because good news could be bad news again. Bad news could be good news again. We'll see. Don't mind that. Amazon still holding. XLU really green. Interesting there. Oh, what's high yield growth? High yield growth still pretty green. Okay. Not bad. Oh, wait, we have gap fill. Did we fill that? Oh, we filled the gap above us. We filled this gap for a sec here with the wick. Ooh. Yo, if Apple's just tanking, like I get it, but I feel like other things would follow. Be holding this? We're kind of holding this. Do I need to hedge some volatility here? Go over and ask my boy Martial Law. Where'd Martial Law at this morning? Yeah, the Thursday thing is scary, man. Japan is gonna scare the crap out of everyone. $605 looks likely. It's more of paying attention to options. I don't think there's a great setup to get into something right now. But if I was, if I was still holding on to runners from the lows with my position, I'd be going, hey, if we can hold 600, 605 is where we could gravitate to, if you can hold that. But as of right now, you're seeing a bunch of little divergences pop up. Marshall, I want to know what you buying. You buying SVIX or UVIX right now? I know you like to trade it. Apple flushing is dangerous. Because you're flushing, you're not getting that buying pressure to help out the market to extend, I think, this overall move. So part of me is really interested I think we just do it. I think I have to be getting rid of this fully. I was gonna see if I could hold on to a few, but I think I'm just getting rid of it fully, and I don't think I can do anything with this info though. Like, I really don't think that there's a great setup. I could take like a hedge play, but I don't even have calls now. We're risking. Let's see what is going on here. Let's look. Maybe an hourly chart can clear this up for me. Yeah. Yeah, you're holding the tapering. I just want this. And we wait. And we wait. And we wait. And we wait. 220 is really where you should catch some kind of support, man. But we're going to back off this. Just no reason to risk it. See, I'm watching volatility, and I'm really paying attention to this. I think this is very important. If we hold this point, like, yeah, you have one more divergence point, but the more you get rid of, the more you're leaning towards, oh, we could head down. So we're really paying attention. Can we violate this now that it's done it on the RSI? And the dollar is just still coming down. This will be an interesting day. It'll be an interesting week. Of course, another shortened trading week. Always lame. VIX 9-day with the pop is what's kind of freaky here. 2 hour about to curl up, possibly. Daily curls back up. We're not happy about that. Well, I guess now I don't really care. US, oh, look at that thing, 2%. Nice. Oh, will we reject from the 600 level? I think. Hard one. Because it's so 50-50. Let me switch this out. And then we're gonna chat. We're gonna chat with each other for a little bit. Chat with each other. The other part was when they were down, I left my phone downstairs, so I couldn't even like look at stocks until I hopped back on. I had no idea really what the market was doing. So now I'm hopping in. Dave, just got here. What was the TLT breakdown? TLT looks good. It's in an area where we were discussing, right? We were discussing how funny it would be if all of this down here leads to that push up. And the way that this could be bullish, in the bullish thing is what we were talking about at that time, is if it can react up to these levels, and then I think see that turn down and curl back up. And you are noticing that that is possible. You're just seeing it across. You violated all these divergences. That's great, but you still have a technical divergence point. It's just you don't have that confirmation yet, so you don't know if that's likely to pull down and fill this gap. So something we can watch is something like this and go, hey, that 2 hour has confirmed a divergence. So that is kind of leaning us towards, hey, you know, we could see a reaction in the yields. Maybe they build up over time, right? We see how that would be bullish, right? So it's just telling me, hey, I should probably expect some kind of pullback, unless we absolutely squeeze, some kind of pullback from TLT. That's just what I would say is the more probable thing at this point. Obviously, it's always probable this thing could skyrocket, right? We want to treat it that way as well. We want to make sure signals are confirming in some way. But yeah, we were talking about down here, hey, the best way for this to get bullish is get back above 8708, get back above this, use all this to consolidate in some way, and then break through. But your weekly expected move, you're not there yet, right? You still have a little bit higher to go. So it can go a little higher. I'm still just looking at volatility, okay? This is why I'm paying attention to volatility. Remember, we pay attention with those little tiny signals. We have a little tiny signal here, and this is why, you know, the hourly chart doesn't look good. The 30-minute looks pretty choppy, but if that 30-minute can see some strength and really get above these levels here, we can see that go positive, you know, go like that, really go like this, take back the 5. You might see this 2-hour actually be able to make that move, and then we'll see if that can hold. Right, that scenario, this scenario is this scenario for the SPY, right? Something like this, something like this. Maybe even it's bigger and something like that. I think you're more so leaning towards this though, right? Somewhere in here. That's if volatility pops, by the way. Notice that we're always thinking one step ahead. I'm thinking one step ahead as I'm looking for a trade. I'm thinking one step ahead. During my trade, I'm really just watching what's happening in the present time and then looking for those little reactions that I need to be aware of. Is there a way to figure out if money from tech moves into crypto? Yeah, it's kind of, I would say it's just difficult to see because you could be seeing that with like even DJT right now. You could see outflows from DJT and go into like his coin, if you will. I think you more so just want to pay attention to how much money is going into crypto. Do I want to take that signal on crypto? How much money is coming out of crypto? Do I not want to take that signal for crypto? That's more how I'd look at it. Just went short Tesla. About to break out of a bear flag. I think you're right to point it out, right? That's why we briefly drew this for just a second here. It's still pretty controlled in the grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things. So what I'd be paying attention to is if that 2-hour crosses, I kind of agree with you. I think a little short down to here, a short down to here. You know, if you start to break these levels, start to break this, it's looking like, hey, 257.78. I get it. But the 2-hour hasn't crossed for me. It has crossed on the RSI signal, so I'll give you that. I think you do have some reasons here. You have a 30-minute divergence here, right? You had reasons to more, I would say, short at these type of levels at 427.50. But for this, you want to just pay attention to your risk now. So, who brought that up, by the way? Mark Ellis. I will point out to you a very easy way that you can know if this short trade is going to go wrong, as you have just seen a big reaction down and you're right at the 5-day. You have to be aware that this is a level. You just filled a gap. You can see support. So what you want to pay attention to is, can this 30-minute curl back up? Because if that 30-minute curls back up, it's saying I'm going to beat this high and I'm maybe even going to go make a new one. I'm going to test this, maybe go make a new one. So if all just goes well, you're never going to see that. But I just want to give you something to react to. It's something that we discuss very thoroughly in the course. It's called managing your trade, right? I'm sure maybe you even took the course by this point, but managing your trade. And that's a very easy thing to do right now. The 30-minute is by the center line. If that 30-minute crosses up, we can see further positivity. It's a little bit of a distance between your signal line and the actual confirmation there. So I just want to point out that this could be all the way to here, and that's why I like longer out positions, because if I take a day or a trade for Friday, a move like this, and I have shorts maybe down at, you know, gap fill or even at the money, if I have that, well, then this can really cause like 30% right away, 50% right away. But if I have 2 weeks out or 4 weeks out, this might only be like a 10% loss. Yeah, so just wanted to thoroughly go over that, but I think that would be a good thing to pay attention to. I'm in a great position when the market corrects with the bases loaded. I'll hit the home run with no outs. Nice, I like it. I think your VIX looks like, hey, that could see a reaction, but we're still waiting. I think we're just waiting for now. Looks like to me though, aren't we trying to hold that 600? I think you're trying to hold that 600 pretty nice. Ripple, you want to look at Ripple for a sec? We can go look at XRP. We can go look at Ripple. For Ripple, obviously, we have this up. Wait, this looks a lot like NVIDIA on the daily. Sorry, that was just crazy to me. But right now, you have established you are in this downtrend. But what just happened that kind of makes things different? What just happened that makes this different? This. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. uh-oh, what just happened? A low, a new established high. If this can carve out as another low and you beat this high, ooh, you cross up right here above the 5, what's likely to happen? Hey, maybe test the high, go make a new one. Right? So right when Ripple, people probably talking very bearish on it, justified, by the way. That is justified still. That could be a trap in some way. But you want to just see, can that curl up with a strong bar like that? A green bar just like that. And then you would go, okay, it's going to test this high. I need to be aware that I might need to react there in case that falls. Right? If it falls, I got to react. But if this crosses, you're very likely to test that high. If you beat that high, you're likely to go make a new one. And what have you been doing for a while now? You've really been consolidating and holding up pretty well, right? Consolidation overall is a battle between bulls and bears, right? We've talked about this before, probably months and months and months and months ago, like really early on in 2025 or 2024. We were talking about, what is consolidation? Someone was asking, what is consolidation? Well, if you really think about it, it's a battle between bulls and bears. It's a battle. And it's just who's going to win that battle, right? Who's going to win that battle at this point? Because if you lose this, you're probably heading down to here. Back to the day of about, let's see, the high here on January 11th. That looks like a great level. But as of right now, what do you have? I just have a 4-hour that's by the center line, which means this, now that I'm looking at that 2-hour, right? I saw the 2-hour looks okay, trying to make a maybe a higher low. If that 2-hour produces, and then the 4-hour produces and crosses through this high, I can probably see a move similar to this one right here. And you're going to end up at 230 billion maybe. Right? Your market cap could increase by, which means the price, by the way, could increase by something like 26%. Kind of want to go look at an actual one that has, there we go. So now if you want a price for it, you would say, hey, what is this likely to do? Okay, it's likely to go up maybe even 26%. Right, and all we'd have to do is like kind of take this little breakout here and say, hey, if that's an equal move, something around $4. So pay attention. It means, hey, this is when you look for the opportunity, right? You've pulled back. You're right around the 5. On the daily scale, you might be seeing these moving averages catching up. Look at that, the 9 catching up. So that doesn't look bad. It looks like, yeah, I can't get right. So yeah, to talk very, very basic, looks kind of like a bull flag. It does. I think you're justified to say that, and your MACD agrees with you. Your RSI is kind of agreeing with you. And now on the 2-hour, you're just trying to make a higher low. But it's just not proving to be the most positivity there. That's all I would say. I don't mind it. I think you're making a little 5-minute flag here, right? You're making a little 5-minute flag right now for the SPY, and see if that can ramp up. But one thing I'm just being aware of here, and I'm going to leave this, go back over here, and click on volatility. I just want to be aware of anything going on over here, right? I want to be aware of anything going on right here, because this will really help me out. Is it holding the divergence point? Click into it. Be like, okay, it is holding it again. Click into it. Is it holding it on the MACD? Click into it, or just hover right here. Okay, it's not below that line. It's holding. So if this reacts up, I need to start reacting. Right? From a risk standpoint, I would say. It means volatility has high potential to increase on the 2-hour scale. That is higher than the 30-minute. So that's 4 times bigger than the 30 minutes. So that means volatility could increase, which means this could drop down to potentially 591, 590, I think would be more likely, somewhere around here, right? Which means where are you looking at? Possibly the downside weekly expected move. So now we're aware of the risk. Now here's the other thing. Has this confirmed yet? No. So is any of that risk there yet? Potentially no. SPY's about to bust. That's a lot of pressure building up. I'm going to have a order set up to get a contract for some volatility on UVXY. I kind of just placed it a little bit higher up. I want that to cross, and I think that's going to cross once you beat these levels like 1587. And then I'll just watch it early on, because if we're going to squeeze, it's not going to last. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you know how squeezes work, then these dips down are pretty quick, and it just whips back up. It gets you bearish for a second, and then it just whips back up. Or it gets you bearish and then gaps up. So, we'll see. I want to look at futures as well, just to see if we got anything there. So you can really see these 30 minutes here. Look how weak that looks on the 30-minute right now. It's not the best. It's not the worst. 2 hour, you have confirmed the divergence on the 2 hour. And look at this. See, this is leaning me more towards a pullback, a deeper pullback. But this is the tricky part. This is what I actually wanted to point out. Damn it. See, it got me off for the morning. This is what I wanted to point out. That's super strange to see that, because that's retesting a breakout. So if that's retesting a breakout with one big wick, and this happened within like 30 minutes, and then just support comes in, I'd really be like very interested to see the market drop below that now. That's a huge buy coming in there to hold this thing up. And people are looking at 220 for Apple. I think a lot of people are looking at 220 for Apple. RKLB. Rocket Lab. Why is it up? No idea, besides the fact that someone decided to buy it. I mean, I'm not hopping into that now. Screw that. I'd be looking for a retest in some way. I'd want to retest 2930, maybe lower than that, probably something around 2850. If not, going all the way back down to retest something like 27, retest the kind of breakdown, this bundle in here. So this is where you go, okay, the direction is up for this. What's the 30-minute look like? It's skying. So if that can get down by the center line and curl back up, that'd be nice. Right, these little curl ups, even when they went negative, these curl ups have been pretty damn good. Even had divergence for this one on the RSI. Look at that. 30-minute curls up, 2 hour goes. 2 hour divergence, maybe. Nope, I think this might be a new set of runs. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It just looks like, hey, do I want to take that opportunity at a huge high? Probably not. AVGO, no real 30-minute divergences for Broadcom, so any 30-minute downturn could be a retest that curls back up. Very, very good. Very, very good. Maybe we even see a drop to fill that gap, and that would still be bullish. You see how much this type of price action has bought you room to make those steeper 2 hour higher lows. Yeah, higher lows. We've seen the break. Can we get a retest now? Can we get a retest in some way? A retest in some way. If this 2 hour crosses, though, I'm not happy with that, really. It looks like it could be a fake out. So I'd really be watching this and going, okay, we're kind of violating this, but this still could be used, right? The right shoulder that could have been. Left, head, right shoulder. Bam. So that's what I'd be paying attention to for AVGO. Interesting. Palantir, how's our buddy Palantir? Palantir, I don't like this buying pressure. I don't think it's enough. That could just curl down and it's gone. This low is gone. And you're just heading down. And then Palantir could be a setup for later. I might put this on my radar, actually. I'm going to go put this on my other charts, because if Palantir does that, that would be sick. I would be so down. All right, volatility is starting to get rid of the signal. We notice it's getting rid of the signal as of right now, which means, ooh, maybe volatility is not coming in. Maybe this 30-minute, maybe we're just going to see this thing squeeze. Apple, it's like crazy, because Apple is saying we're going to squeeze with its move right now. It's saying, I can't go lower than this. I'm going to bounce, and we're going to squeeze. The SPY and other things, volatility, SPY, some other things out there are saying kind of the opposite. So this is going to be a tough day. Still to the call side for the PCC for the most part. Rat gap fill. Whew. Market maker's job is to make as many traders and investors look like fools, and why I learned to play both ways. Exactly, martial law, and that's the key thing. It's just I think they're doing a very good job of it right now. Because you are at a standpoint where a pullback would be a good thing. A dramatic pullback would be a good thing. That could really fake people out. But a squeeze might fake people out still the most, right? You're at a potential where 3 scenarios could really mess people up. So it's a risky time. Trump back to office, tough day, can't believe. Well, there's so many bad things that went on over the last 4 years that I would say you have to go through some tough times. You have to. You can't, you can't let the kids run rampant for a full, half a day and expect that the rest of your day is going to be just peachy. No, you're going to see, it's kind of like the pendulum swings. When a pendulum swings to the right, it has to swing all the way back to the left before it can center out. So that's what you're getting. You let immigration go all the way to the right. Now you're going to see it snap back all the way to the left so that it can go back to being in the middle, right? Just for an example. You are is going to go nuclear. Oh God, laws. God, yeah, they're all over it already. Sofi looks great, Ben. It really does. The crazy part for me is it's probably going to get a retest at some point, right? I really like this, but I just think this thing's going to get a big retest at some point of something. And I would say that could go all the way back down to 1541. That could go all the way back down to fill both of these gaps. It would still be bullish if it did that. If it all of a sudden just did this, like just went bam, it's still, if it curled back up, would be pretty bullish, right? Because this is all the way up here. That still would look pretty good. All of that could be a retest in here, a retest down here. This might be a little too steep. I think you're looking at this as being pretty good. As you're approaching the weekly expected move, we start to talk about what? Where it would retest, right? Here would be great. Here would be even better. It's great though. 30-minute divergence starting to pop up. Pretty flat, so I'd say 2-hour pullback would make more sense than like a 2-hour collapse. SPY, once again, just hanging out at a daily expected move. A lot of the time with squeezes, by the way, you'll just see a squeeze, you'll hit the daily expected move, you'll sit there all day. And then you'll see the next day you just gap up, you go to a daily expected move, you sit there all day. Then the next day you just gap up and you see a daily expected move, then it flushes right when everyone gets bullish. Here goes crypto. Crypto's going. Let's go look. Ah, Senior Bitcoin. The 2-hour did cross up for Bitcoin here. We got an hour and 50 left to see a good bar off that, but solid little wick there. So Bitcoin overall, I think the ultimate, more bullish signal is the 4-hour, but Bitcoin's going. Wonder what was said about Bitcoin just now. I think Ethereum looks like the better 4-hour opportunity to me. Been looking like it wants to break out. And then let's go look at old Trump coin. Oh, Trump coin. Hey, that 30-minute was able to reject here. So Trump coin started to run. Uh-oh, what does that mean for the market, though? Uh-oh. Which means Mara might catch a foot here. Mara might bounce off the trampoline. We'll see. Little bit worried about you, Mr. Dollar. Little bit worried we're going to see some kind of move up, but as of right now, for volatility, right? We want to be checking back and forth on this. As of right now, for volatility, you still have those reversal signals. They're just not looking as good. Right? Not looking as good anymore. You still have the potential divergence points here and here, but it's not looking as good because you lost this, which means you could end up just seeing this completely go down like this and create a divergence later. But we'll pay attention to it. It just adds more credibility if we see selling that buyers could step in. It adds a little bit more credibility there. Still at the daily expected move. Looking for that test of 1504. Hourly has confirmed down for VIX right now. I'm looking for the test of 1504 now, I think. Or maybe gap fill. Where is the gap fill? Looks like the gap fill is at something like 1474, so a little bit below 1504. For volatility, that is. Market's so quiet. Yeah, it's just the gap up, and then you're just sitting. Seems like they're letting people make decisions, and then they're probably just gonna rip it up or rip it down. Just depends what big seller or big buyer comes in. Zig Heil by Musk. You guys, come on, he's not trying to do that. Like, I'm so sick of social media, man. I'm so sick of it. Everyone reads into every little thing. Just pay attention to what someone actually does. Apple making lower lows. Yeah, that one's scary. Scary, scary. Someone could wave to their grandma and someone would call it a Hitler salute. Just saying. Like, I have no feeling about it either way, really. I'm just like, ugh, it's so dumb. You might hear me get more and more like that soon, because I'm starting to care just less and less and less about everything and just be like, hey, what can I control? Way better to care about that. What happens to Apple when the rest of the market turns down? Well, Apple could be saying, hey, we're heading further down. Right? Apple could be saying, hey, I'm breaking these levels. I assume a buy should come in this area at some point, right? You're almost to the 200. It's pretty crazy. But if you go back and look, you can find times back in here. Apple was coming down, and the market was making a new high up in here. So Apple's done it before. Right? Apple didn't make a new high here. I believe the market... oh, no. That was the start of the bear market. But this time here, it helped you out. We'll maybe look at that for Saturday's video. Amazon was a nice buy. Hood, a good divergence. Maybe waiting for short confirmation. Let's go look at Hood then. I'm down. You think it looks good? Let's go. Oof, look at that. Look at that daily divergence, man. First of all, did you see this? Woo! 30-minute. Did you see this? Yeah, you got it. I wouldn't say it's like the strongest in the world. I'd want to see a 2-hour. And I don't see a 2-hour really. I mean, I see it a little bit, slightly up actually on the RSI, which tells me you might be right. I think it's more this though. I think Hood is fishing for a top. I think Hood is more likely fishing for a top. What do I mean by that? I mean, it's forming. I think you could be potentially at a top, you know, if the daily crosses, you want to pay attention, right? If the daily is able to cross, you pay attention. But overall, this 2-hour is still pretty positive. So I think you're building that top. You're going to get one more maybe, you know, if you really see a selling move come in and that's bought all the way back up, and then that drops again, that's where, you know, volatility is increasing. And so I'd be looking for this. I think that would be very, very nice. Hopefully you have a weekly expected move. Is that what you're paying attention to, Ben? Does that look similar? Like, are you kind of drawing up the same things? Exactly, SH33. Exactly. Okay, good, Ben. Okay, so just hoping that we're kind of on the same page with it, since you know, we're talking back and forth like this. Sold my long and waiting. Yeah, so I'm just saying how these things like to move. If we see that drop and maybe the market drops too, maybe we even go retest 432 or go fill this gap, and then you actually curl back up. And this is what I'd be more worried about in the future. Or I'd actually be more excited for, because I'm actually getting a signal that is very likely to curl over a daily chart. And you see there's plenty of space between here for that confirm. So some kind of little 2-day move to go fill a gap and then curl back up and then be like, okay, that's what I'm paying attention to at this point. That would be a great setup. But I'm also aware if the daily could just cross, right, that would be at lower levels. You might mess around in here for a second, get some kind of intraday thing, and then end up turning down again. I closed all your short. Hey, that's or all your longs. Okay, awesome. I was like, okay. Whew. Yeah, I read that completely wrong for a second there. My bad. Adelisa, you want to look at Tesla again? Well, we can look at Tesla all we want, but overall, the daily chart curls up. We're pretty happy with it. Right now, you're in 30-minute pullback mode. You're not seeing too much buying pressure come in. Right? If we really look at this on a 5, you're going, that's not the most buying pressure. You're making little bits of structure, right, to maybe get some kind of bounce. We just want to see if the 30-minute can actually cross back up. It's right there at positive territory, right in the center line here, right on the MACD. So you're just going, hey, can this thing curl up? If that thing curls up, I might still be okay. And we were talking about this more about, you know, someone who had a short position in here. It's like, well, if that crosses up, you kind of got to be like, hey, that's completely contradicting my trade. So that's just something I would react to at that point as far as my trading goes. If the 2-hour crosses, though, where are you likely to go? Well, you have gap fill below you. You have this down in here, this low you could test. You have this low you could test. But ultimately, if that crosses and it doesn't form any kind of higher low again, as you have now, well, if that doesn't form the higher low, you might end up pointing directly down towards 357.78. And then at 357.78, that's where I'd probably be watching for some sort of support there. Want to see if you get an equal move, what that would overall look like. Hey, there you go. You know, that's a messy measurement, obviously. I don't really care about measurements too much. I care more about weekly expected moves and things like that, so. Elliot, on daily, Tesla is at a wave 4. So with this this upward move, wave 4, and then this would be wave 5, if I have that correct, Ben? Can you clarify? I'm not the biggest Elliott wave guy. One, two, three, four, 5 is how I would see it. Yeah, see, this is why I can't do Elliott wave, but either way, that is likely if the 2-hour can cross. You want to be aware that's like how bad it can get. So holding calls in here would be risky if that crosses. That's the main thing we take from it on the daily scale. Okay. So for now, we're just chilling, sitting, waiting, wishing. You believe in superstition? Nothing here from volatility, still violating the last real divergence point there. So this is a big deal. It's a big deal. If that 2-hour crosses down, more squeeze to come. You've already gotten an hourly cross down. Most people like to pay attention to an hourly chart, right? So you can still look at the hourly. If that turns up, hey, that'd be bad. But now you're violating divergence points. So pullbacks might be brief. Are we Elliott waving now? Well, let me break down stochastic and camp. I can't. I'm just, you know, Elliott wave is not my strong suit by any means. No. I rely on you guys to educate me more and more and more. Ketamine's a hell of a drug. I just randomly read that. I rely on you guys for Elliott wave, right? I'll give you guys my technical analysis. You guys give me your Elliott waves. How about that? Send me a picture of your Elliott wave theory there. Wait, Trump coin's back up to 40. Trump coin? Trump coin, what are you doing? Coin, what are you doing out here? I know how to wave and I can find a guy called Elliott. Hey, then you'd have an Elliott wave. I wouldn't touch an option at the moment, even if I was paid. Yeah, it's risky time. Very risky time. I was really looking at this and just going, come on, give me a confirmation, give me a confirmation, give me a confirmation. Right? I didn't see this one, which is good. I'm glad I didn't because that ended up failing very heavily, turning back down on the next bar. but if it gets rid of it on the MACD, you're pretty much a reaction volatility would be random. The only thing that's really scaring me a little is the VIX 9-day. VIX 9-day going up that dramatically and technically holding, probably because the SPY isn't moving much. That's the only thing that's really freaking me out. Dixie not seeing upside. That is down. It's actually negative today, just so you're aware. It was negative yesterday, and so that's why you're getting green here for some reason, even though the bar's not there. Look at what the Dow is doing. That's actually a good point. Let's go look at the Dow. Dow screaming higher. Look at that, violating divergence. Ooh, that adds some credibility to squeeze. That adds some credibility to some squeezing. I might have to just miss out and sit on my hands. Look at VIX, really getting rid of it now. Really getting rid of it now. But like, man, this would be a crazy gap up. This would be a crazy gap up if you did that tomorrow. Because you're not even getting, unless you get this for a couple of days. This one didn't have reversal signal. This one didn't have reversal signal, it just went. We'll find out. Yeah, Dow, thank you for pointing it out. Dow, very interesting to see another upward move. We like to use DIA, right? DIA, these are not, I don't think they're the correct levels. Let me double check. I never update them on these charts. Yeah, you can go a little bit higher, but just a little bit higher is about all you're going to get. A couple of points. As far as the options market pricing it in, obviously if you're squeezing, you can go higher. Apple has no innovation. Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. That's why I don't use their phones. That's why I switched off of their phones last, what, like a year and a half, a year ago? About a year ago? And it's been great. I love my new phone. Think about switching again. Like a Samsung thing or something. I don't know. What phones do you guys like? Then if you try to figure that out for little coins like that, it's not. There's nothing. What value is there? Nothing. But what value is there for a lot of things? What value is there for Shiba Inu? What value is there for Baby Doge? What value is there for Baby Ship? What value is there for Pepe? What value is there? There's not a lot of value anywhere. Galaxy Fold? Ooh. Yeah, it's just, if you try to figure out which ones have value, that's probably where you actually want to put your money. I mean, there's a reason that Bitcoin is worth more. There's a reason that Ethereum is worth more. There's a reason that Sol is starting to come up. These things actually hold some value, and then there's little things within it. Keep an eye on the Dixie and the Yen. I will keep an eye on it. What are, here, martial law, you brought it up a couple times. So I want to hear your standpoint. What do you think is going to happen between the Dixie and the Yen? And mainly just like, do you think the Dixie pulls down, the Yen goes up? The Yen goes down, the Dixie goes up. What do you think happens there? GG's, Apple's under 220. Holy crap. I am glad I got rid of that. A lot of the time, if I see this, I'll try to scalp a buy and see if it can buy back. But this time, I don't know, my gut was just like, man, get out. Get out while you can, scrape away 50% of what you put in. No, there's none, Andrew. Andrew, there is nothing down here saying this has to bounce. I mean, look at this thing, man. That's just horrible. That's just horrible. Now, you can get a relief bounce, but to catch that and to trade that, very sketchy. The downside plays are printing here. Will we get another carry trade even with a Japan rate hike? Ooh, Japan rate hike is bad, Donnie. Basically catching a falling knife. Yeah, this is catching a falling knife. If this, you know, and a buyer can step in and fix things, right? A buyer can step in and fix things, but do I want to bet on some random dude that I don't know out of billions of people on Earth to potentially buy a big enough order to actually send Apple up a little bit for a trade? That just sounds like a lot of hope. Yeah, the yields are still sitting high. Is it the 23rd for the Japanese rate hike? It's the 23rd, right? Yeah, okay, good, Ben. I was just clarifying. Okay. I just wanted to see what Marshall Law was saying. He just kept typing it over and over. I'm like, yeah, give us a little more input, man. We like input. We like discussion on this channel, right? We see reversal signals, so give us some input of what could go wrong. We're down. Like, it's cool. We like it. Give us that info. We're down. Dollar still dropping off at this moment, though. Like, really, look at this thing. That is not looking too good there. Oh my gosh. Is that the best chart I can get? I'm just kind of clicking around. I never look at the JPY, to be honest. I see and feel another August 5th. I see, I feel another August 5th, round 2. What happened on August 5th? I wish I could memorize every single day of the market, but... Oh, like one of these type of moves? Like a spike down? Like, oh yeah, we're basing out, here we go, and then it just drops. I don't know, you're in a different... You're at a... It looks a lot different than over here. Looks a lot different. Trying to find a place where this really looks similar. Hey, but now we have 2 crossings up on the daily, right? We have 2 crossings up, which means I can actually potentially take a short position if I want to. I don't know that I will, though. DIA, the Dow really scaring me there. Looking like the yen carry trade plummeted on 8.5. Oh, there you go. Well, what was that? What was that meme by Roaring Kitty? Has anyone looked at that meme lately? Or that one post with like all the Japanese dudes around a cat? What the heck does that even mean? Can someone explain that to me like I'm a 5th grader? There's just so much in that thumbnail or whatever that I'm like, there's like a dude, there's some candles, there's some green, there's a bunch of Japanese or Asian people like around a cat. I'm just like, I don't know how to analyze this. I'm like, I don't, unless it's numbers, I'm like, I don't know. I can probably formulate something. Is it possible that Dixie pops after the Japanese rate high? I mean, you want to treat it like it's possible, yeah. I mean, the thing is, ignore everything out there. Ignore everything out there right now. What do you have on the dollar? You have a positive uptrend move on the monthly scale. What does that mean? That means phew, we could do that. Like at the end of the day, this, if a weekly does not curl back down, that doesn't happen, then this could just be a daily pullback. This could just, I mean, I know we have daily divergence, so it is saying that we could turn down on the weekly. I'm just going to pay attention to what the dollar does, right? This is what I mainly care about, right? And if this wants to curl down more, maybe for another 2 days, right? Down, down, then that Japanese, and then it turns back up, you're going, okay. Flash crash, then we pump. If we flash crash and then pump, if we flash crash, first of all, we're not doing it. I would say you're not necessarily doing, I mean, unless it takes days. I wouldn't say ending up down here is likely at this point. Unless we curl down the daily chart, then yeah, it's very likely. But from here, you're more looking like, what, can that crash down to here really quickly and then they like help out things? Oh man, ouch. Phew. They're gonna eat the cat, is what it means. I'm sorry. He's hinting at legislation. Man, I don't know. I don't know. It seems like things are up in the air and it's all dependent on just like what someone decides to do, which means unless you're that guy's best friend. We touched the upper band of the channel and then like 2008. So you touch upward channel like up towards 630. Or what? Gold and crypto up. Someone is lying. Exactly. That's what I was confused about. The dollar coming down and gold up, and the dollar is down. Don't be tricked. This is a downward move. Look at this. This is down dramatically. So to say that this can't squeeze would be kind of silly at this point, right? Pretty silly at this point to say that. But it could be a reaction based on the yen at this point. It could be. I don't see that anywhere. So fat. Sorry to call you so fat. Where is Short Fridays? That's Nike pumping. Let's go look. He might just be in a different channel because ours was down for a bit this one. Well, down but up. Had to turn that thing down. Yeah, rejection divergence looks great. Is the daily confirming up? Because the daily is what you really want here. Yeah, he probably likes it. I think he was accumulating during this in this area. Too bad about Joey. I don't see that reported anywhere. I highly doubt that is true. Yeah, people would be talking about it. Yeah, how long this spine will squeeze? Wait, any way to check how long the spine squeeze continues? No. There's not really a way to see if it continues. That's why shorting a short squeeze is something that's very difficult to do. Right? This is why we do not condone shorting something that could potentially be a short squeeze. If this is going to head in the downward direction, even fast, you can see that drop off, see a bounce, and then see another curl down, and that's where you feel safer. But this could squeeze. The only way you see if that continues is if signals remain good and they keep curling up, keep curling up, keep curling up. Right? It's so hard to short a short squeeze, which is kind of a good thing that people are not doing that. It's kind of a good thing. But usually the times where people don't short the short squeeze, that short squeeze pulls back. So we're gonna be paying attention to this pretty heavy. Exactly, OG. And this could literally be like look at this 30-minute. This could literally be like 1 day or half a day, right? It could be into the end of the day, and then the next day you're just gapped up and you're trapped completely. So now you're trapped here. Oh, those people sell those positions, go short, and then it like gaps up, and then you're just like, oh crap. Like that's what truly does happen in short squeezes. It's a very sketch. It's kind of like this, right? Bam. Oh, it's gonna fail. Bam. You see what I'm saying? It's pretty brief. That right there is all you got, and then boom to the upside. So we were watching this. We were watching our signal. And the MACD didn't confirm it. Now that's a lagging indicator, but I'm just saying. How high can it go to? If it really wanted to squeeze, 611.03. 611.03 is what I like. Now, if that was an absolute rip your face off kind of squeeze where you get not only 1, but 2, but 3, but 4, but 5, but 6, all the way up to maybe even like a 13 count, you could see that. You literally could end up at like 630. That's how breadth was really, really bad. So if breadth comes in strong, that can happen. Now, more so leaning towards, hey, we get up to here, maybe we fall, then we come back up. And then I want to see that because I think this would be pretty solid, but we'll see. Try not to read into it too much. We got to figure out if this thing's going to pull back or if it's going to squeeze right now. I mean, it's already been squeezing. That's why it's holding up still. That's why these wicks are coming in. It's still pretty much squeezing. It's hurting all the people down here. Like I said, they might be getting out of those positions. If they get out of those positions and go the other way, ooh. 606 this week is actually very, very likely. That is a probable thing to happen. Hedge, and know when to keep the winners and cut the losers. I cut out all my longs here. I got rid of Apple. Oh, darn, I lost $125. Oh my god, no. Oh my goodness. And know when to keep the winners and losers. Yeah, so we get rid of the loser. We kept the winner for a moment, sold that one, and we had winners all last week. So everything here I'm happy about. I'm just kind of like, damn, I wanted to have a nice take profit into a possible trade setup right away this week if we saw like a big dip down, like forming. So I'm a little bit bummed we're not dipping down yet, but we'll see. Yeah, and everything's in a cycle, right? One, two, three, four, five. So, what could we be in now? Well, technically, if this wanted to play out, this is how I don't use Elliott Wave, but I look at how I think this would like to play out, and I see this. I see us reacting to here. I think this would be something that really tricks people. Then you turn back up, then you turn back down, then you turn back up, then you turn down. I think that would be the way you do it. I think that's the way to trap some people. Get them bullish. Why is the market squeezing more as it drops? That's the weird part, isn't it? Isn't that weird? And it says plus 0.3, but this is a bigger drop than you think because it's not supposed to include yesterday. And you don't see a bar for yesterday, but it's pricing it like it happened yesterday. But if you really look at this, it says positive 0.03, 0.02. You are down 1.21. So that's massive, and I think you're seeing some of that possibly in the Dow. I think this is where you're seeing a little bit, or maybe the orders haven't hit the tape. Maybe the orders haven't hit the tape. Maybe they're buying into TLT, right? TLT with a big upward move. That could be it, right? What we want to see actually in this area is we want the dollar to possibly be going up dramatically and see a very high PCC, or I'm sorry, a low PCC. Because that would convince us, oh, everyone's to the call side, but the dollar is increasing, suggesting people are going into cash. But that's not the case as of right now. Indecision, very possible. Is it, I mean, that would be pretty big for a dollar reaction because of retail traders. But you do see the PCC relatively remaining at lower levels. Little blip to the upside, and then woof, still remaining down there. It'll make more sense, and things will be more clear soon. I mean, really, right now, you have a very clear signal. Really, right now, I think the clearest signal is this. This is your clearest signal. I know it's on here, but I think this was very clear. And if this does not curl up, rejects, you're looking at downside. The only thing that makes me worried and why I think buyers will step in is this wick right here. So I think even if we get a dramatic drop, like I said, we can go all the way down to here and still end up seeing a buyer come in, and it would still make sense. Right? Because your MACD would actually be closer to the center line on that one than all of these. I just think that'd be crazy. But we talked about that in the video. If you actually remember in the video, we talked about this, and I said, you know, if the market has been ripping people apart, they might really want to fake it out. Two ways to fake it out: short squeeze, right? Are they faked out enough and we get a short squeeze? But if you really want to fake them out, turn down like this, then curl back up. Abuela just got here. Sorry, guys. Didn't want you to hear dogs barking. And I think indecision's not a bad thing to say. I think you have people probably arguing back and forth. You have, obviously, you've remained here for the whole morning. So most likely you're going to have to wait till the end of the day. The last hour of the day is when the big players play. I have 3 dogs. Hey, what kind of dogs you got? I love dogs. Sad, sad week for us, though. Tomorrow will be a sad day. I'll see if I can. I gotta look at what time, but I'll make sure that I'll be live tomorrow at some point. Jack Russells. Oh, that's sick. Those are cute little guys. They're fun ones. I gotta take off this this jacket. I had to go out in the cold this morning, and now I'm hot. Trying to stick around for a little bit because we missed out for a little bit this morning. Better for the market makers to squeeze up now because there are a lot of call options this week for 610 plus. I think it would be better for market makers to squeeze the market because of all the puts out there for so long. They just eat up all that money. SPY is green on the MACD on the daily. Yes, Toronto. Yes. But now you have 2 days. And as long as that remains curled up, you're still pretty positive, right? But it doesn't mean you can't see a 2-hour pullback. Now, that being crossed up, you might just be still taking the basic argument of, hey, we made those basing out signals, people got very bearish, the daily curled up, we're going to squeeze. Like, that's just the basic analysis, right? The more complex analysis is, are we going to see something to really make people bearish again and then see that thing turn back up? So that's all we're going to pay attention to for now. I have a Maltipoo who got scared by the Jack Russells at the dog park. But it kind of depends, can't get right? So what I want to do is look at the CPC. Let's look at the CPC for a few days here. Let's look at this and really look at where this is positioned at. And look, hey, well, in recent time, I would say in the last 4 trading sessions, you had people bullish trades. You had neutral, bullish trades. Very bullish trades. Very bullish trades. So if you add that in, you might see the pullback, but I still think the put-call ratio is so high a few weeks out from now, even I think next week and the next 3 weeks, it's so high. It's so high that a squeeze would really hurt people a lot. A lot. So if there is a pullback, and we see people get really bearish, and we see that thing curl back up, you know what I'm going to do? Probably take calls. Apple is just getting leveled. Yeah, we told you this is the risky one. Thank goodness, though, that this never happened. Thank goodness this never happened, because that would have got me to put more money behind it. This would have been like, this was only a 125 loss. That's all I risked because I knew that this was a risky setup. It was a potential for a great opportunity, but you know that sometimes the greatest opportunities are the scariest ones, and they could see the opposite way. So very nice here to only lose 125 when if this 2-hour curled up and then it failed, oh, I potentially could have been in for $1,000 to $3,000 and be down 10 times what I'm down right now. So I'm very happy that that didn't happen. If you want to say luck, well, I'm very lucky that this did not curl up on a 2-hour and then fake me out, because I would have risked a lot more money behind it. The other owners almost did calls on Apple, but I never got any higher highs. Exactly, and that's a big deal. The only thing you really got here was an end of day hourly cross up that was relatively weak, right? So I took a small position in here, but I said this over the weekend. I was like, now my plan with this is if we start at the down here and we see that 2-hour get a strong bar to cross early on this week today, then I would add more. But the problem was we just gapped down. So that's where I'm just thankful that the 2-hour didn't cross up. And I say thank you. right? I say thank you to the charts. That's where I say thank you so much to the charts for potentially saving me $1,000. Buffett is still selling Apple. Well, actually, I'll show you guys. You guys want to see something crazy? You want to see Apple right now in the SEC filings? You guys want to see this? I'll show you. Look at this. So here are the most recent. How many trades is this? Like 100? Here are the most recent 100 trades for Apple. I don't see really any buying in there, buddy. I just don't see it. So insiders don't seem to like Apple. What do we think? NVIDIA, let's go look. 141. You gotta be aware of this for NVIDIA still. I know we got this slight upward move. This is a very small flag. If this is a trap, I'd really still be watching that 30-minute to cross down. But it could still hold up at the 5. I'm not saying like short, anything like that. I'm just saying this is a reversal signal that is still holding. Okay, it's still holding at this point. So we'll pay attention to it. When do I feel more comfortable? Honestly, that daily curls up, I'd feel more comfortable. But you're going to probably be breaking through 141 to get that daily to curl up at this point. So this is worrisome. And I don't like this buying pattern. I said this buying pressure, I don't like this. I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is because how it's making the 2-hour look. Look how it's just this gradual move across. Oh, now we're right by the center line with 30-minute divergences. Ooh, you want to short it, don't you? You want to short it, don't you? You want to short. And then it could squeeze. And then it could pull down. Right? This could not be done. We could need another reaction down to these levels and then turn back up. Right? We could need a higher low. It's just there's too much risk, I think, until I see a daily confirmation. And even that, I probably wouldn't even be playing an option at that point. It's just these little trades to the upside as the market top, like genuinely as the market creates the top, you know, sometime in 2025, but potentially creating a top, you know, around these times. It's just like, how much money do I really want to risk, you know? Oil was a great short. Oil was a great short. What side is that for the SEC? Let me see here. I can probably throw up the link real quick. OpenInsider.com. Here. OpenInsider.com. Right there. If you guys want to go look at some stocks, see what people are buying. This is a great thing. If you see a trade setup, you can go check real quick and see if insiders are buying something. And you can even see what people are buying like recently. Latest cluster buys. You can see how big the buy is, like how much value it is. You can see how much the quantity of the shares. You can see all that. It's very, very nice. So you can even do that probably with like GME. I don't think GME has like buy orders really. And they're not too big of buys, but you can see all the little sells coming in. But you can do that stuff. If it's like a ticker that you're thinking about investing, like look at Intel. Let's look at Intel, right? Because Intel had that bottom. Look at this. Buying, 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 buying. From August 2023 all the way up until November of 2024, we had a lot of buys, and now you see a pretty decent sell come in. Pretty decent sell. Nothing like terribly crazy, but 650, pretty good. So yeah, you can do little stuff with that. I would play with it for a while. Mainly I just like to see, hey, is there insider buying? Oh, there's insider buying. Okay, how far out were they buying? Like when was the last buy? Or, oh, okay, they're buying pretty recently. Okay, cool. Do I see a reversal signal? I do. Oh, look at that move up. All right, cool. Right? It's something you can read into. Do I use it as a reason to take a trade? Not necessarily. No. I mean, it can add some credibility is how I would put it. It would make me feel better about the things going on in my chart. I guess I like pain. Mind checking Celsius? We can check on Celsius real quick. If, wait, who asked for Celsius? If Droids is in here. Is it LH? Yeah, LH. For this one here, you have these highs in here. See how this buying pressure, this reminds me of NVIDIA. It's kind of just like, I just don't like that buying pressure. I don't like that. I want more buying pressure than that. This is starting to look like, to me, a 2 hour that can cross down. Yeah, okay, it is. So at this point, you have to be aware that this is crossed down. Now, that could mean you're going to test the lows. Uh-oh, look at that. We might have tested the lows. Or go make a new one. If this turns back up, it's really solidifying like low, high, higher low, potential for a higher high. So how could I look at that? Well, the 30 minutes close to the center line, if that 30 minute crosses up, boom, to the upside can happen. And then you would want to see the 2 hour confirm that up as well. Yeah. And overall, if you probably spread this out, I wonder if it's on the daily. Not necessarily. Nope, nothing really there for the daily. So yeah, 30-minute field curls up, you're like, okay, that can be a little move. 2 hour curls up, you're going, oh, that's close to the center line. Okay, this is a potential higher low. You just got the test of the lows. Let's see, did that test like right on the, yeah, it tested right on the bar itself. SPY might go retest the high. Yeah, look at that, some pressure coming in. Volatility did get rid of the signal, right? Completely got rid of the signal at this point. Now, I don't want to convince myself it's there before it proves, right? This didn't prove. Awesome, didn't confirm. But I noticed that the hourly is still holding the divergence point pretty well. So now I would say if that hourly curls up, I need to react. But notice I'm always waiting for this to actually curl up before I react. And that's the important part. Because this good, squeeze to the upside. We know that now. Even though it's overbought, you can remain overbought for a long time. Look at these little touches into overbought that just, you see these little minor pullbacks and you just keep going, keep going. And then eventually you run your head into something bad. We'll see. SoFi rocks. Yeah, that setup was so good. How's it doing? 7.5. So now as you're doing this, you got to realize you're probably going to have a weekly expected move here. Just pay attention to that. All right. Pay attention to weekly expected moves and things like that. Does that mean it can't go higher? No, we know that. It's not a 100% zone. But it does mean, hey, this is a great place to make some freaking money. This is a great place to actually take that as cash and buy it and have it in. And then if I want to, I can leave some runners. But you're even getting rid of the divergence point. So this is really, really bullish for SoFi. I think Tesla's okay. I'm not the biggest, like, I don't think this is the worst thing in the world, but you have to be aware that this could all, the buying pressure, once again, not very good. Now you have solidified a slight higher low. So what you're looking for here is maybe to dip down to make that new one over in these areas. But you just have to be aware that this could, if this never turns back up, this could end up going all the way down to like 357.78. You pretty much, you could test these levels down in here, or you could go down to here. And that could all happen before earnings, right? So we'll be paying attention. But the only thing I'd be watching right now, 30-minute chart, seeing if that can whip back up. It looks pretty lackluster at this moment. A big sell came in, and then it just is holding. So I think you need more time. That's the unfortunate thing. It's like for Tesla, if that 2 hour is crossing, which it is right now, it's like I probably need some more time to see where this thing wants to curl back up from. Are the Qs at their daily? No, okay, so the Qs could go reach for that daily. Let's look at a 5-minute chart for a little bit. Actually, I have to go soon. What time is it? It's 10:56. Fuck. Huma? Huma, is that this guy? I like the trying to make of the higher low. I like where we're consolidating at. I think that's great. We did not break down completely from 447. We did dip back down into it, which means most likely it's the shoulder that could have been, right? So left, head, and then we got excited. So right shoulder forming now. Looks like it's turned up. Looks kind of like, hey, we're trying to build this thing back up. The 2 hour chart, if that crosses, I'm not happy, but look at that rejection. You're getting a very obvious rejection there, which means I could see another 2 hour trend move up, which means if the ultimate goal here is to curl up on a daily chart, that seems pretty good. This seems like if the daily can curl up here, you have solidified a low, a high. I would just take this point right here, and then a higher low. And since you did react to this level, hey, if we're able to build back into here, you're probably going to see resistance again there. But we'll see. I don't think this looks bad. I think you just, you know, the problem with me a lot of the time is a lot of things that look good or look like they're coming down, to me, they can look okay because I see the potential opportunity, right? I'm always weighing risk to reward, and I know how to manage my trades, and that's the big thing. It's like I feel pretty comfortable in almost any trade as long as the I get to choose when I take it, because I can sit there and monitor it and be like, okay, I want the daily to cross up. So that means I need this 2 hour to go positive. So if the 30-minute crosses down, that's bad. And immediately I know my plan. Right now, I think this looks like it's trying to build up and make that next move. Elon supported Trump. How much will that affect Tesla? I mean, see if people are buying or selling it. Most likely it means good things for Tesla if the president of the United States likes, or, you know, potentially, I guess, likes the company, or the company produces good things and the company can help out his administration, right? He just said he wants to go to Mars. So who do you think he's going to put in charge of that? You know? Thanks, Jari. I appreciate you asking. I'm just saying, it's like, he literally said yesterday, like, put a flag on Mars, which I think is hilarious, but who's he going to ask to help him with that? The same agencies that really haven't done anything but tell you that drones are aliens for the last few years? Or the agency that learned how to grab a rocket out of midair and make it land back in place? I'm probably going to say he's going to allow Tesla to help with those things, but, you know, doesn't mean Tesla's safe from investors wanting to sell the stock, say if recession hit, say if the Japanese yen and that kind of business went on, say if the Japanese actually had that rate hike. Yeah, it wasn't. The way he did it wasn't, but he's socially awkward. I'm just like, I'm not reading into it. I'm just like, yeah, people might not like that. Little things like that can turn investors off. I get you. He's socially awkward. I mean, did you see him like during the inauguration? Like, it looked like he was doing calculations in his brain of things on the walls. It was weird. Where would the SPY be attractive to go up? I mean, it was attractive down here. That was the last time it was attractive. I think if I'm getting into positions here, it's a little risky. That's how I would put it. Now notice this upward move. I kind of want to see the Qs. I want to see if they're reaching up towards that daily expected move real quick, and then I probably have to hop off. Okay, so I'd really be paying attention to the SPY once the Qs actually hit their daily expected move. That's one. The other thing is, I know the risk, but I know there's also risk of a short squeeze, so I don't want to be taking massive positions, probably in either direction if I haven't caught this from the low. I wiped out all of my long positions. I'm like, nope, we're not doing it. I'm going to chill. I made enough money on the move. I don't care if I miss some kind of squeeze. I'm chilling. So overall, though, guys, thank you so much for watching today. I am sorry that this morning we kind of had some stuff going on. Thankfully, the water has stopped dripping from the ceilings. That is a good thing. It was not hitting any of my computer or my computers or anything like that, which is I am very, very thankful for. But we're going to have a rough week this week here at the house, so I'm going to go spend some time with family during this afternoon, which makes me even happier about just getting out of my long positions, taking some profit, and making sure to manage the Apple trade with a small loss. So I'm very thankful for that. I did try to stay on a little bit longer to make up some of that time, so hopefully you guys appreciate that. But I appreciate you guys being here. Even the people stuck around in the morning and just hung out and you guys were chatting with each other, I think, or something. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. And it just helps out you guys make those relationships as a real community, and I think that's fantastic. So thank you guys so much for joining today. I wish you nothing but luck with your trades this week. And tomorrow we will have, you know, something going on with the family as far as Toby goes. So I will try to make a live show in the morning. I will try to make a YouTube video in the evening, but it might be a little rough time for us here at the house. So thank you guys for understanding that. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace out. I'm out of here. leave you guys over on the SPY, because that thing is up towards, you know, it's above the daily expected move. All right, peace out, guys.